Alright, you guys, we are back with another Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra video, and with Super Saiyan Broly being about 24 to 48 hours away, I was finally able to sit down and go over the breakdown of his entire kit, and this is the one that I am super excited for the most. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta was absolutely unexpected. Ultimate Gohan is one of the craziest characters that they've ever released so far, but this character in particular, I feel like is going to be the one to bring a lot of people back to the game. Maybe not as much as like when they dropped Dragon Ball Super Broly, or one of the fusions being Gogeta and Vegeta. I feel like those are definitely going to be the ones where we see a surge in the player base again, but Super Saiyan Broly is definitely a great start. One of the fan favorite characters across the entire series, especially in Japan. This is still one of my favorite characters of all time, alongside Vegeta and Future Trunks. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and hop into the legendary Super Saiyan Broly trailer for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. And like always, I'll let this play and kind of do an initial reaction at first. Oh, there's the guy right there. There's my boy, man. So we'll watch this initially at first, and then we'll go back and kind of do a little bit of a breakdown of everything that we see. Okay, so it looks like he kind of has a move similar to Ultimate Gohan. Oh my God, man. This is Kale on crack right here.
I hope you're comfortable.
Nah, what I just saw, this is Kale on crack, bro. So, first of all, let's go back. Before we go through the entire kit breakdown and look at all of his moves, let's look at the gameplay one more time. And I want to point out some of the stuff that I saw here. Obviously, he's going to start out in Super Saiyan. And one thing that I did notice, and I really like that they did this, this is the form of Broly from Broly the Second Coming. This isn't the one from the first Broly movie, the legendary Super Saiyan, where he had the bluish, grayish tint hair when he was like in suppressed Super Saiyan. This is fully unleashed Broly from Broly the Second Coming, where he fought Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, and Videl, right? I love this. And that's the guy right there. That is legendary Super Saiyan Broly. As you guys can see, he doesn't have the head suppressor like he did in the first movie.
I'll turn this place.
He just got the chain on. He got the chain on in the wristbands. So this move right here, I could be wrong, but this looks similar, like I said, to Ultimate Gohan's Power Unleashed move, his skill 3, where he puts Flea on the enemies and causes them to like run away or whatever. I'm assuming that this is going to be called something different, but it looks like from that shockwave that he let out, this is kind of like that, right? And obviously he's going to have a, from what we saw right there, he's going to have a melee-based rush attack. All right, so this is going to be his stomp move. Well, not necessarily a stomp. He like punches the ground. There's the stomps. And then his final move right here, he's going to just... Actually, that looks like that's his super attack, actually. So did we see all three moves? He had the shockwave where it looks like he puts something akin to Flea on them. He has the one where he punches the ground. Then he has the stomps. And okay, yeah, this is going to be the fourth and final move, his super attack right here. I can't wait to see what his passive is.
With the idea of dying.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into it for the full breakdown. Now, as we already knew, legendary Super Saiyan Broly is gonna be our DPS character this season. We had all three roles get a character this season, unlike season 1 where we had 2 DPS and 1 technical character. This season we had a tank. We started out with a tank with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, then we got our technical character with Ultimate Gohan. Now we're rounding things out with our damage character, legendary Super Saiyan Broly. So his concept is going to read, a raging hero who doles out despair with fiendish tenacity. I wonder if that's going to be the name of his passive, fiendish tenacity. Let misery fall upon foes near and far as you unleash overwhelming power upon them. The bloodbath awaits. Yeah, it looks like he has skills for every situation. The punch, the skill that he did that punches the ground, that looks like it has pretty good range on it. He has the stomp, kind of like I think Kale has something kind of like that stomp as well. It looks like he has maybe what, like 3 of those, kind of like how the Gammas can spam the slam kicks, I think up to 3 times, so maybe something like that. And then his super attack looks like it just does ridiculous damage, right? So let's go ahead and see what his passive skill is going to be. Fiendish tenacity. How did I know? When they say certain things in the concept, I feel like we're used to this at this point. Like we can kind of pick out the words that they're going to use for certain things. So his passive skill is going to be Fiendish tenacity. Increases enemy hero despair gauge when skill lands. So we got another gauge here. We can see down here under Krillin and Goku, we have the little Broly icon in this gauge right here. This kind of looks like the petrify gauge. I wonder if it's gonna do anything like that. Obviously it's not gonna freeze them, but I wonder if this has something to do with that skill number 1 that we're gonna see next. Gain strike defense up against enemy heroes with any despair gauge filled, and rush attack damage dealt increases with gauge level. The more enemies a single attack hits, the more the gauge fills. The gauge depletes when taking rush attack damage from enemy heroes or after not dealing damage to them for a set period of time. Okay, so I definitely think that the skill 1 that we're about to see is definitely going to play a part in really being able to maximize the efficiency of this passive skill right here. But initially, all we really need to know is the more enemies you hit with a single attack, the more the gauge fills, and you gain strike defense up against enemy heroes with any despair gauge filled, and obviously rush attack damage increases with gauge level as well. Look at that attack right there. Oh, did you guys see that? Hold on. This, and it's probably because he hit 2 enemies with that, but he did the, I'm guessing that's going to be skill 2 where he punches the ground, and then he did the little shockwave yell attack, and it completely filled the gauge up. Yeah, those 2 special attacks, they filled the gauge up almost like immediately. It did like 70% of the gauge just using those 2 skills. And I know it filled it up more because he hit 2 enemies, but that's just something to take note of, right? So his rush attack is going to be a physical attack. The higher the despair gauge, the more damage is dealt. Maintains the despair gauge level during the attack. Okay. And next is going to be his transformation, of course, as with everyone else pretty much, besides like Cell, because that kind of, you know, it depends on your bioenergy gauge. Is going to transform at level 7 into the legendary Super Saiyan. The best transformation in the game so far. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. This is what I wanted to see right here. Okay, so this isn't the yelling shockwave attack. That's going to be either skill 2 or skill 3. Skill number 1 is going to be gigantic knuckle, the one where he punches the ground and releases a shockwave, kind of like in a beam sort of fashion, but not necessarily a beam, right? Pummel the ground and split the earth in a set direction. The more the attack is charged, oh, you can charge this attack? The greater the AoE. Can move / redirect while charging. Increases the despair gauge of any enemy hero's hit. So let's go back a little bit. Did he charge this up? They'll probably show the charged version here, right? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, my God. Obviously, that's going to be at level 3. That's going to be at maxed out level. But still, look at that. God, look at that crater, man. Oh my God, this is gonna be the scary one right here. Skill number 2 is gigantic stomp. Leap up and stomp the ground at a targeted position. Applies unstoppable to self during the attack. Any enemy hit by this skill will be stomped on several times, and the despair gauge of enemy heroes hit will increase. Can move / redirect following the initial stomp. This move right here is going to be so annoying. This is going to be more annoying than Ultimate Gohan's little back this move where he like pulls you in or pushes you. This move is going to be even more annoying than that. This character might even be more annoying than Kale when she's transformed. Kale when she's transformed, you literally just have to run. Unless your full team is there helping you fight her, you literally just have to run, right? I don't know if this is going to be that bad because she's damn near invincible when she transforms, but this is going to be scary. I can already tell that whenever this character comes out, I'm gonna have to like insta-lock him when I'm trying to record the video for you guys, because it's gonna take a lot to actually get some footage with this character. Everybody's gonna want to play him, right? I have a feeling that a lot of people, probably more so than last season, since we know how things kind of go with the game now, people were probably waiting for this character to buy anything, right? Like, I didn't see a lot of Ultimate Gohans, I'm gonna be honest. I saw a lot of Super Saiyan 4 Vegetas like a couple of days after he came out, like the initial like 2 to 3 days. After that, he kind of fell off a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I don't see a lot of Ultimate Gohan. I play Ultimate Gohan a lot. I don't see a lot of Ultimate Gohans. People still play a lot of Gotenks. People still play a lot of Kid Gohan. Obviously, Frieza got a little bit of a buff. So people are playing those characters. I feel like it's gonna be just as hard to get some games with Super Saiyan Broly as it was with Super Saiyan 3 Goku last season. Like, you could not, unless you insta-lock this character, you were not just free to pick him until like the end of the season, right? Like, it was just hard to get any type of games with him. This character is just insane though. So this applies unstoppable. I have to go back and read exactly what unstoppable is. Maybe you guys can let me know down below in the comments. Right now, I'm not too sure off the top of my head. Skill number 3 is going to be Roar though. Unleash a ferocious roar in a set direction. Upon activation, immediately removes the cooldown on all other skills. Super attack, oh my God. This character is busted. He immediately removes the cooldown on all other skills. This guy is like a mix of some of the craziest characters in the game. Like, he has a little, let me just finish reading before I get ahead of myself. Damage dealt by the next activated skill, Roar excluded, will be increased, and the despair gauge of enemy heroes hit will increase. Cooldown on this skill will increase in proportion to the amount of cooldown removed from others. Okay, so there's a little bit of balance in this last sentence right here. Cooldown on this skill will increase in proportion to the amount of cooldown removed from other skills. So if you just use like gigantic knuckle or something like that, maybe I wonder, does the fully charged version add a little bit more cooldown than just tapping the button, right? I would assume that's how that works, maybe. But if you just use gigantic knuckle, or I already forgot the name of the previous skill that we just looked at, then I guess the cooldown on this move would be higher than it would be if gigantic knuckle was on like 3 more seconds of cooldown, right? So that's basically how that's gonna work. I thought there would be a little bit more to Roar, but I mean it obviously does enough already, right? Listen to the wording of this though. Upon activation, by the way, not even upon hit, immediately removes the cooldown on all other skills. That is gonna be insanely busted right here. Bro, oh my god, I can't wait for this character. Now we're gonna be moving on to super attack Blaster Meteor. Okay, so this is gonna afflict the enemy with something, and it also looks like there's a the damage just lasts a while as well. So let's read this. Fire explosive energy blast in the surrounding into the surroundings while cloaked in energy. Can move while attacking. I'm surprised that they didn't show him moving with that. Can move while attacking, and if enemies are nearby, energy blast will target them and explode. Applies movement speed down to enemies hit by the explosions. Increases the despair gauge of enemy heroes hit by explosions or the cloak of energy. I'm just imagining like full team comps with this character. I think he'll be really good with Zamasu. He'll be really good with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I think another DPS that you could run alongside him. Obviously, they won't be in the same lane, but somebody like Deborah would be just absolutely ridiculous beside this character. Again, not beside, just in the game with him on the same team, right? When it comes to technical characters, Go Tanks will be busted with this guy. I think Krillin will be really good with this guy. I'm just imagining everything that you can do with this character already, and we don't even have him yet. I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited, bro. And there's the movement speed down applied on hit by the explosions. Increases the despair gauge of the enemy hero's hit. I wish they would have put the I wish they would have let us see how much the despair gauge goes up with all of these attacks, right? But that's too bad. Guys, that is gonna do it for Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. By the time you guys are seeing this video, we should be 24 to 48 hours away from his official release. I'm gonna be buying this character. I know that we've gotten a couple of updates over the past few weeks where they want to make obtaining characters in the game a little bit more accessible. Now we know that when it comes to the pay-to-play characters, like the season 2 exclusive characters, the season 1 exclusive characters, not exclusive as in you can't get them anymore, but as in, you know, they come as each season goes on. You're still gonna have to pay for those guys. Hopefully in the future they will address that as well. I know that they have to, I say this every time, I know that they have to make money on the game somehow, but I still do feel like letting free-to-play players be able to have access to those characters maybe a couple of times a week, I don't think that would tear into their profit too much. But hey, I don't work for Bandai. I don't know what their profit margins are looking like. I don't know, you know, their balance sheet, nothing like that. Hopefully in the future though, they do make these characters a little bit more accessible for the free-to-play crowd, because I want everybody to be able to experience these characters and not have to pay for them, right? I will continue saying this until maybe it gets picked up. The trial hero ticket system is probably one of the most efficient ways and best ways to do that, right? We get 3 tickets per week. You can use any character you want that you have to initially pay for. Like say I want to get a game in with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, I would use 1 ticket on him. Then I want to play with Go Tanks, I'll use a ticket on him. Then you know, Super Saiyan Broly, I can use my last ticket on him, and that's all you get for that week. People can sit down and play those 3 games in one sitting. I mean, I don't feel like that would affect too much, right? But again, hopefully somebody in Bandai sees this video and maybe implements a system kind of like that. We know the Star Grade collection system is either completely going away or getting completely reworked. So we'll see what goes on with that. But anyways, fellas, let me know what you think about this down below in the comments. Super Saiyan Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, mind you, excuse me, is on his way. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, my boys.